there's only a few weeks remaining in this regular season. It's hard to believe it's coming down to a close. And there are 5 games to take place Saturday and Sunday this weekend. Let's start with this first one, Lisa. We're going to hit everybody with our picks. We've got Racing Louisville FC hosting Orlando Pride in this one. Orlando struggling, Lisa. They have yet to pick up a win in quite some time. They have fallen out of playoff position. They are absolutely in a place now where they cannot afford to drop points. They're in a place where they cannot afford to lose any longer. Looking at this Orlando Pride team that had spent so long in playoff position to now sort of kind of flounder in these final remaining weeks, it's a tough position to be in. And now they're on the road against the Racing Louisville side that's got nothing to lose. They got to get a win, Lisa. Who are you picking in this one and why?
They do. Orlando is winless in their last 3. Their last win actually came September 11th against Racing Louisville. It was 3-1. And the first time Louisville and Orlando met in early July, it was tied 1-1. So this is for the head-to-head between these two squads. I want to give it to Orlando. I just want them to win because they're on such a losing streak. Alex Morgan getting missing the penalty kick, getting unlucky with that one in the Wednesday matchup. I want Orlando to get back on their winning ways because I like Becky Burleigh as a coach. We've talked about how aggressive this team can be. Can they throw a little fire towards Racing Louisville's way and come out with the win? So I'm going Pride on this one. Sandra?
I think they got a tall order ahead of them. They're coming off of a short rest this week. Orlando Pride. Racing Louisville is one of the teams that did not participate in the midweek matches. They're on the road. So not only do they have the quick turnaround, they're having the traveling on the road as well. I'm not too sure if Orlando walks away with a win in this one. I actually think this might be a draw. I think I'm going to start off my picks with a draw in this one. I want to see Louisville maybe kind of take on a little bit of that persona that Kansas City is doing right now, where they're trying to pick up these wins, where they're trying to be this team that makes it incredibly difficult to play on their home turf. But Orlando Pride has come into Louisville before and kind of shaken things up. So we'll see what happens. And I think it might be a little bit of desperation play on Orlando's part and a little bit of maybe frantic play on Louisville that kind of might even things out. And I think this one actually might be a draw. Let's roll on into Chicago Red Stars versus Kansas City. Another game that we're looking at for quick turnarounds for both of these teams. But this time, Kansas City find themselves on the road. They're heading over to Bridgeview, Illinois to take on Chicago Red Stars. Lisa, you already know where I'm going to go on this one. I'm going to go Chicago Red Stars. I'm picking them to win this game. They have a good record against Kansas City at Bridgeview. Last time they played against Kansas City, they put up several goals on them. And even though it's a quick turnaround for both of these teams, Mike going to give a little bit of advantage to the home side having the extra rest or not extra rest, but less travel on them at this point on the quick turnaround. How about you?
Travel definitely plays a factor into this, and Kansas City having to make their way after being home back to back. They've had a lot of rest. They are coming back a big 3-0 win over Houston. That win does a lot. I think the offense is really clicking for Kansas City defensively. They've had much more confidence, especially with AD Franch in goal behind Kansas City's defenders. Just organizationally, Franch has done tremendous things. Sandra, I'm going to go with you on this one. I think Chicago is going to get the win in this matchup, which not too bad. They played last time they played, it was 3-0 in late August. Chicago got the win in that one. And Chicago's offense is just on something. And Watt's really fast. So I'm excited to see her just run at KC defenders. I'm not going to stop saying that because sometimes I forget. She's really fast. So yeah, I'll give this one to Chicago.
All right, let's roll on. We've got OL Reign hosting Washington Spirit. I can't wait to take a look at this game. I feel like it's going to be a really, really fun game. We've got two teams. It's number 2 and number 3, right? We'll get into these standings for everybody soon, but it's going to be billed as a big, big game. And I think that OL Reign, they want to build off of what they were doing against Portland Thorns. I'm going to be going with the Reign in this one, despite the really good, consistent play that we've been seeing in the attack from the Spirit. I just think that the Reign have been doing something very, very special down this final stretch of the season. And I think being at home is something that plays very much into their advantage when they kind of go up against opposition. And I think they're going to walk away with the win in this one. How about you, Lisa?
OL Reign on a definite hot streak despite the tie against Portland. They're undefeated in their last 8 matches. Washington undefeated in their last 4. Washington's last loss actually came to OL Reign early September. That game was a 3-0 loss for Washington. This one's tough. This one's really tough for me, is looking at the standings, looking at how these two squads face out. You picked OL Reign, right, Sandra?
I did.
I think I'm going to go with Chicago on this one. I think Trinity Rodman has shown a lot of what she can do. I think Hatch and Sanchez have contributed really well. I think Bledsoe, coming off a phenomenal game Wednesday evening in the league for those midweek matches. I think Washington can do this. They can put power to the powerhouse of OL Reign and prove them wrong. So I'm going to go with Washington Spirit on this one, but I think it'll be some goals. I think we're going to have some goals, maybe like 2-1 or 3-1, something like that.
I don't know. That's a quick turnaround and that's a long flight, but we'll see. I respect the energy and leaning into Washington Spirit. Again, I think this is going to be a real treat of a match for people to take a look at. And I love that it's the final one of the triple header for Saturday. But let's get into Sunday, Fun Day. We got 2 matches, double header for this one to close out NWSL action for the weekend. It is going to be North Carolina Courage hosting New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC. Gotham FC finally making their return, similar to Racing Louisville. They weren't a team that participated in the midweek matches, but they're back in action this week. And we're talking about teams that are primed for a real playoff push. Gotham FC, one of those teams with multiple games in hand. They've got 4 remaining, while so many other teams in the league just really have about 2 and or 3. But Gotham on the road in this one, I feel like this could also be a draw, but I don't want to pick another draw. I just have this thing where it's like at this point in the season, it's about results, and people and these players are playing to get those wins. So I really do think that the quick turnaround and the rest is going to be in favor of Gotham. And I just really think that having somebody like Margaret Purse back, having somebody like Paige Monahan back, having these extra options in their arsenal, Scott Parkinson and Bevianes know the team that they have and their ability to possibly go on a really strong run. And these next 4 games are going to be huge. And I think it's going to go in Gotham's favor. I think they're going to get the win.
I was leaning towards a draw on this one, and ultimately I wrote down Gotham's going to win on this one for me. The rest is huge. Gotham is coming off a big win over Orlando Pride the last time they played, but honestly, the rest is huge. North Carolina, they played on the 10th, then they played on the 13th, and then they play again on the 17th. That's really a quick turnaround. They also played on the 6th. So it was October 6th, October 10th, October 13th, October 17th, which a lot of these teams have done. However, North Carolina has lost those 2 against Houston 4-1 on the 10th, and then again against Washington 2-1 just on Wednesday of this week. So they've been scoring goals, but it's not going to be enough. So I could see them getting one in this one. Actually, I'm going to go draw. I'm going to go draw on this one. I changed my mind. I'm sorry. I'm flip flopping.
I feel you. I was almost
myself.
Yeah, I was almost there too.
I convinced myself. Yeah, because I think that Courage is going to get a goal and Gotham will only score 1. So 1-1. I'm giving scoreline predictions now, but I'm going to go a draw.
I like that. I like the draw, and I like the scoreline in this one. Last one for Sunday, Houston Dash hosting Portland Thorns FC at BBVA Stadium. It's a big one. These 2 teams have really been building a kind of spicy rivalry a little bit between them over the last year or so. And they've been playing against each other when they go head to head very well. Houston Dash getting that recent win against Portland 3-2 on the road in Providence Park. I'm not too sure if that's going to echo the same thing in this one. Again, we're talking about 2 teams that are coming off quick turnarounds, both kind of having a little bit of travel. Houston has to head on back home from Kansas City, Portland having to make the travel to Texas themselves. So I'm not too sure if there's going to be a huge advantage in terms of the travel aspect or a potential fatigue on the bodies. So because of all those things coming into play, I hate to do it, but I'm going to end it the same way I started it. I think this one's going to end in a draw, Lisa. I've got Houston Dance and Portland Thorns in a draw for this one on Sunday. Who are you going with, or what are you picking and why?
I think the travel does almost even itself out and cancel out between these two squads. At Portland, they're not winning. They are winless in their last 4 matches, which is a lot for Portland Thorns. And Houston, they're on this build. They're on this climb. I think the loss for Houston against Kansas City stung a little this week. I think they're going to have a fire inside of them, traveling from Kansas City now to Portland. It's a lot. It's a lot to go into Providence Park and to play against the Thorns there. I'm going to go Houston in this one. I want to see a Houston win over Portland. Shake up the standings a little bit, even though Houston continues to climb. At this one, I'm circling for the weekend, for Sunday especially. I'm really excited to watch Portland versus Houston, but I am going to give it to Houston.
All right, right on. I like that. I like that you're ending on a result. I went the way of the draw. Let's get through these standings for our listeners here, just so they can stay updated, and you can all hear and see how narrow things still are heading in to this weekend of matches. At number 1, first place, Portland Thorns FC with 40 points, and second place is Ola Reign with 39 points. Washington Spirit in third place with 33 points, and fourth place is Houston Dash with 32 points. Fifth place, Chicago Red Stars, also with 32 points. And in sixth place, North Carolina Courage, also with 32 points. And the outside looking in at the moment is New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC with 29 points in seventh place. In eighth place is Orlando Pride with 28 points. In ninth place is Racing Louisville FC with 17 points. And in 10th place is Kansas City NWSL, but bumping up that points to 15. And that's how everything shakes out according to the standings ahead of this weekend's matches.